Good morning to you. Mark Suttoth, HurricaneTrack.com here, 1:30 in the morning Eastern Time on June 21st, 2017. I want to take a quick look at Tropical Storm Cindy here, the very latest information from the 11 o'clock Eastern Time advisory. A pretty large area under a tropical storm warning now from the Florida-Alabama border, including Mobile Bay, the city of New Orleans itself over here, Lake Pontchartrain included. And this blue area could also see 1 to 3 feet of storm surge. That would be the onshore flow from this tropical storm piling up the water against the coastline, and in some areas we may see up to 4 feet of inundation, and that can obviously be a problem. Now, winds are 60 miles per hour, but I think that's going to change over time, and that was mentioned in the forecast discussion from Stacy Stewart tonight. You see this in here, we got this upper level low pressure area. This is not Cindy. The center of Cindy is located down here at the surface, but you've got this dry slot trying to work its way in, and this is a big inhibitor. All that dry air trying to get involved with the center of circulation of Cindy and not allow it to develop deep convection wrapping around the center of circulation. And as long as that keeps happening, we don't see this firing storms right around the center, it'll probably start to weaken in terms of the overall wind pattern. The air pressure may stay down in the mid 990s or so, 995 to 997, something like that. But this is really doing battle with this upper level low here off to its north and west, and unless this fills or just backs away completely and allows the upper level high pressure to take over, then I don't think we're going to see any more intensification out of Cindy. But do notice that it's got a heck of a fetch coming up out of the Caribbean Sea into the northern Gulf up here, bringing tropical moisture, onshore flow, and it's a disruptive event. It's not a hurricane or anything like that, but it's enough so that we need to be paying attention to it, and that's why I am and where I am. I'm down here along the Mississippi coast right now, recording this, by the way. In fact, my trek out of eastern North Carolina all across the interstate system here, through Atlanta, down through Montgomery, and then down 65, wet. That is for sure. We have a frontal system draped across the region as well, and that's interacting with all this moisture associated with Cindy, and that's enhancing the rainfall. And you can bet some of these rain showers producing lightning and thunder, very torrential rainfall rates, and that's going to be the norm over the next 12 to 24 hours. And notice in the next day or so, as the center of circulation, which is still out here somewhere, moves inland towards that landfall area, it won't look anywhere near as impressive on the radar as what you're seeing here, well away from that center. National Weather Service, I want to point this out one more time. Talked about it in my update today. You go to this particular block and you put in your zip code or your city and state, Gulfport, Mississippi, New Orleans, Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, whatever the case may be. Any little town is going to show up in there, or you can just click on it if you know what your town, county, or parish is. It'll zoom into that area as you see here. A patchwork of watches and warnings in the update here. You got the local radar streaming in, very heavy rainfall, and then it's got all the different river flood warnings, the county flood warnings, the tropical storm warnings, the tornado watch. That's all right in here, and you can read about it, and that helps you to understand kind of what you're up against, hopefully. And there's even a tropical weather page. Look for things like that. These are created by the men and women that work at the Weather Service. They live in your area, all right? They are not, robots typing this up from Washington, D.C. or something. These are people that live in your community, and they know what they're talking about. So check that out. It's a great tool, and you should definitely take advantage of it. And finally, I wanted to show you the GFS. Tonight's run from the 0Z, put this into motion, and you can see what happens over the next 3 days. This is 72 hours. And you notice I talk about the vorticity signature. For the most part, it looks like Cindy takes on a fairly round appearance, but it's just not bundling that energy. We're not seeing more and more vorticity energy show up. It's hard to describe exactly what that means, but you can just tell by looking at it. It's not increasing on the scale over here, meaning that the energy is not, the vorticity is not increasing overall. it generally stays the same, and that shows me that it's probably not going to strengthen anymore. But I'm going to show you something else that's interesting. See this piece of energy that ends up here over parts of the Mississippi River Valley? We go back to the beginning of the loop. Watch what happens. These chunks of energy, or vorticity, in the atmosphere come off the Gulf of Mexico. You watch the loop start over. See them right here, these greens, these big slugs of moisture coming in, and those are going to work their way up. There's one there tomorrow over the Mississippi coast, and that's part of the reason why I'm here, because we're going to be able to see that on the live stream that I'm getting ready to set up down at Gulfport Harbor. Yes, it's almost 2 a.m. and I still have work to do, but hey, that's part of my job, right? And wind and pressure data. The pressure data not as important, but any squalls that might come in, we'll be able to measure that. But I'll post the live stream feed. That's going to be on our Ustream feed on social media and on the HurricaneTrack.com homepage once that's up and running. All right, well, that's it for me for tonight. I am in Mississippi. Good to be here. Still got a lot of work to do yet before things are all set on my end, but it'll be worth it, I think. You know, practice helps to keep us ready for when the mean hurricanes show up, the ones that we really, really worry about. You know, you want me to be on my best game then, and that's what we do now, is to make sure on these smaller events that everything works as planned. Again, I'm Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com. Thanks as always for tuning in, and I'll have more, including live continuing coverage all day tomorrow.